Michelle Obama's a man.
Of course. You don't know that?
I didn't know that, no.
Well, now you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joan Rivers mentioned it publicly, and she was dead 2 weeks later by the way.
You know how there are always a ton of crazy rumors about famous people? Well, one of the biggest and wildest rumors out there is about Michelle Obama. It all started a long time ago with a famous and very blunt comedian named Joan Rivers. She was always making jokes, and she repeatedly suggested that Michelle Obama was actually born a man. Then, in 2014, Joan Rivers suddenly died. The official report said it was due to serious complications during a medical procedure. But almost immediately, people who believe the rumor started saying that her death wasn't an accident at all. The new, shocking theory is that the Obamas had Joan Rivers silenced because she wouldn't stop talking. Some people are now claiming that powerful agencies were involved in a cover-up to make her death look like a simple medical mistake. Another celebrity, Jaguar, had talked about this idea years ago and everyone called her crazy. But now, people who believe the rumor are saying Jaguar might have been right all along. The story gets even wilder. People are now saying that several former staff members who worked for the Obamas are finally coming forward. The rumor is that these staff members saw something that proved Michelle was biologically male and were paid millions of dollars to keep it a secret. They allegedly stayed quiet because they were scared of ending up like Joan Rivers. One of the first people to really tell this story was a man named Dr. Rafael Espinosa. He says he was one of Michelle Obama's doctors back in 2008 when Barack was running for president for the first time. Back in 2018, he came out with a crazy story. He said, "I know what I saw. Michelle Obama is not a woman who used to be a man. Michelle Obama is just a man with breast implants." He shared a very specific story. He claimed that he once accidentally walked in on Michelle in a bathroom and saw her standing up to use the toilet, like a man would. He also said that on the campaign trail, no doctors were ever allowed to give her a real exam. They could only check her temperature or blood pressure if she got sick, which he says she never did. Dr. Espinosa claimed he was paid millions to stay quiet, but he decided to talk because of what was happening in the country. When this happened, a spokesperson for Barack and Michelle responded. They didn't actually say the story was false. Instead, they threatened Dr. Espinosa. They said he would lose his medical license for breaking the doctor-patient privacy rule. They basically said if he wanted to trade his career for fame, that was his choice. A lot of people thought it was weird that they threatened him but never actually denied what he said. But that's not the only piece of so-called evidence people talk about. There's also a rumor that the Illinois State Board of Elections accidentally leaked some old paperwork. This paperwork supposedly shows that Michelle registered to vote as a man back in 1994. The story goes that she didn't officially change her gender to female on paper until 2008, which just so happens to be the exact year Barack ran for president. Even Barack himself accidentally added fuel to the rumor. For one of Michelle's birthdays, he posted a sweet old photo of them together. In the photo she looks very feminine. But internet detectives found another version of the exact same photo where Michelle looks much more masculine, with broader shoulders and stronger facial features. People reposted it asking, what happened to Michael Laverne Robinson, which they claim was her original name. And finally, people have put together clips of Barack Obama accidentally calling Michelle Michael or my brother during speeches on national television. They say these weren't just simple mistakes, but secret slips of the tongue. So, that's the whole strange rumor. It's a story filled with allegations of secret identities, cover-ups, and conspiracy. Most people dismiss it as an insane internet theory with no real proof. But for the people who believe it, all these little details add up to one huge secret.
Distinguished guests, and men and women of the finest military in the world. And most of all, Admiral Mullen, Deborah. Michael and I also want to acknowledge your son Jack, who's deployed today.
And finally, people have put together clips of Barack Obama seeming to slip up during speeches. There's one video that gets played a lot where he's talking and seems to start saying Mike, before he suddenly catches himself and quickly says Michelle instead. To some people, this wasn't just a simple mistake, but a secret slip of the tongue that revealed the truth. So, that's the whole strange rumor. It's a story filled with allegations of secret identities, cover-ups, and conspiracy. Most people dismiss it as an insane internet theory with no real proof. But for the people who believe it, all these little details, from the doctor's story to the leaked forms to Barack's own words, add up to one huge secret.
Keep the noise levels up.
Want to make sure he knows we're coming, or she.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if she's got some cubs, that's when you really got to worry.
Yeah. You know what my kids asked me? They said, you've got to ask the president, does anything scare him?
You know, well, when when Michelle's mad, I get worried. There's a certain look that she can give me that...
The rumors don't stop with just doctors or old photos. People also claim that even Barack Obama's own family might have their suspicions. This all started with Barack's half-brother, Malik Obama. Malik is known for being very active and outspoken on social media. Back in 2022, he directly tweeted, "Is Michelle Michael?" In other posts, he talked about someone named Big Mike or Michael LaVaughn Robinson, which is a name often brought up in these rumors. He wrote something like, "I can't confirm or deny the legend of Big Mike," almost as if he was teasing people and hinting that he knew a secret. Then, just last year, he took it even further. He tweeted that he would campaign against Michelle if she ever decided to run for president. In that very tweet, he used the rude and disrespectful terms he used to refer to her. This was seen by many as a major insult coming from a member of the family. People who believe the rumors use this as a key piece of evidence. They say, why would her own brother-in-law say these things if they weren't at least a little bit true? They also point to the Obama family photos. Barack has shared many pictures from his wedding to Michelle. But people online notice that he never shares any photos of Michelle when she was pregnant with their two daughters, Sasha and Malia. Furthermore, there are no baby pictures of the girls that anyone can find. The youngest photos of them that are publicly available show them as young kids, maybe 6 or 7 years old. For believers of the rumor, this lack of pregnancy and baby photos is proof. They think it's because those photos from that time in their lives simply don't exist. They believe this all supports the idea of a carefully constructed story to hide a big secret.
Michelle Obama's a man.
Of course. You don't know that?
I didn't know that, no.
Well, now you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joan Rivers mentioned it publicly, and she was dead 2 weeks later, by the way.
You think
Oh, yes.
they axed her, eh?
The actor, yeah. So that's common knowledge. You can look it up on
Yeah.
any internet thing.
I'm sure.
And, yeah, Michelle Obama's a man. Obviously, you know, they've got, you know, got pictures of her in tracksuits with a 9-inch slong hanging down her leg. No, it's a leg.
Now, you might be wondering, why does everyone always bring Joan Rivers back into this? Well, it's because she was the very first person to say this crazy-sounding thing out loud and on television where millions of people could hear it. She didn't just whisper it as a rumor, she made it into a punchline for her comedy routines. She would joke about Michelle Obama's big, manly hands, or her deep voice. For people who believe the theory, Joan wasn't just being mean, she was a famous person brave enough to point out what they thought was the obvious truth. And then, the thing that made everyone's conspiracy radar go off happened. Just days after she made some of her most famous jokes about it, Joan Rivers suddenly died. The official story was that she had a serious, but rare, complication during a minor throat surgery. But to people who already believe the Michelle rumor, the timing was way too perfect to be an accident. They thought it was proof that she was silenced for talking too much. They believe her death wasn't a medical mistake at all, but a planned hit made to look like one, all to protect a huge secret. So, for them, Joan Rivers isn't just a part of the story, she's the tragic proof of how far someone would go to keep it hidden.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman
we
president?
already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
a transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
The official story behind Joan Rivers' death is pretty complicated and medical sounding. Doctors said she died from something called anoxic encephalopathy. That's a fancy way of saying her brain was severely damaged because it didn't get enough oxygen. Here's what supposedly happened. In August of 2014, she went to a clinic for a totally normal procedure to look at her throat. But something went very wrong during the operation. Her oxygen supply was cut off, which caused her heart to stop beating. This is called cardiac arrest. Because her heart stopped, no oxygen was getting to her brain. She suffered major brain damage, was put on life support, and died a week later on September 4th. For a lot of people, this story just didn't add up. The timing felt incredibly suspicious. She had just made those huge allegations about Michelle Obama, and then she suddenly dies during a simple procedure she had done many times before without any problems. To them, it didn't feel like a coincidence or a medical accident. It felt like a cover-up. Many people are still convinced that her death was not an accident and that the Obamas were involved to keep her quiet. This connects back to the other big question. If Michelle was born male, how did she and Barack have two daughters? The official story from their team is that the girls were born using a surrogate. A surrogate is a woman who carries and gives birth to a baby for another couple. But, as always, there's a rumor. People who spread this conspiracy theory claim they know who the real biological mother is. They point to a doctor named Anita Blanchard. She was actually the doctor who delivered baby Sasha Obama. The rumor says that Dr. Blanchard wasn't just the delivery doctor. They claim she was the surrogate who carried and gave birth to the girls herself. People online try to connect the dots, showing how Dr. Blanchard and her husband are close friends with the Obamas. They use this friendship as proof of their wild theory, saying it explains why there are no pregnancy photos and why this particular doctor was so involved. For them, it's all part of a giant, hidden puzzle.
Photograph is being shared on social media platforms with the claim that it shows Barack and Michelle Obama's daughters Sasha and Malia with their real parents. Reverse image search of the picture led to the original photograph on ObamaLibrary.gov. This image shows Sasha and Malia Obama with Barack and Michelle Obama in the White House in 2015. Further search revealed that the couple seen in the viral image is the Obama's family friends, gynecologist Anita Blanchard and Martin Nesbitt, who serves as the chairperson of the Obama Foundation. They claim that Blanchard and Nesbitt are Sasha and Malia Obama's biological parents.
The rumors about Michelle Obama just keep growing, with more and more people adding pieces to the story. A man named Steve Peters added fuel to the fire when he tweeted a huge claim. He said, Barack doesn't have children, and he definitely didn't have them with Michelle. He then said that the real parents of Malia and Sasha are actually two of the Obamas' close friends, Martin Nesbitt and Dr. Anita Blanchard. People who believe this theory point out that Martin Nesbitt is now the chairman of the Obama Foundation, which they see as a reward for keeping their secret. This idea that the Obamas would silence people is a major part of the conspiracy theory. Believers say that Joan Rivers wasn't the first person who was deleted for knowing too much. They bring up a man named Chef Tafari Campbell. He worked for the Obamas at the White House for years and then later at their home. The story goes that he was secretly writing a tell-all book about all the things he saw and learned while working for them. Then, something tragic happened. Just weeks before his book was supposed to come out, Chef Campbell drowned in a kayaking accident near the Obamas' home on Martha's Vineyard. Officials called it a terrible accident, but many people online don't believe that. They think it was too convenient and that he was silenced to stop his book from being published. There were also rumors that his wife had posted things online exposing the Obamas, but those posts were quickly deleted. Another layer to this wild story involves Barack Obama himself. Since the theory claims Michelle is a man, some people say that Barack sometimes has affairs with biological women. One of the most famous rumors is about a woman named Vera Baker, who worked on his early political campaigns. The story got so big that a magazine called The Globe even published an article about it. The article claimed that Barack had a serious relationship with Vera while he was married to Michelle. It even alleged that a former driver said Barack and Vera spent a night together at a hotel, and that there was a secret videotape to prove it. At the time, Vera Baker denied everything, saying it was just lies spread by Barack's political enemies. But now, with all the other rumors flying around, some people wonder if she was pressured by the Obamas to deny the affair to keep their larger secret safe. So, what does everyone think? In the comments online, people are totally convinced. One person said, Joan Rivers wasn't joking. She was serious and she was ready to expose them. Another person commented, I've been married for 13 years and I have never once accidentally called my wife by a man's name. That's not a mistake, it's the truth slipping out. So, what do you think about all of this? Do you believe there's any truth to these crazy allegations about Michelle Obama? And do you think there was something more to Joan Rivers' death? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to watch this other video for more on the story.